Let's make some coffee, shall we? It's a 9:45. I love to have my second cup of coffee about now. I've got my coffee set up here. I make it with a French press, and I pre-measure all my coffee. I use Trader Joe's French roast, which is cheap and pretty good. I've tried a bunch. I think this is right up there with Starbucks. Maybe not quite as good as Pete's, but you know, for the price, and that's 397 grams. I get 7 cups of pots of coffee out of this. So that's 57 grams each. There it is. We'll get the French press going here. This is an old almond butter jar you'll recognize. I use these for lots of things. I've adopted this electric kettle. I put a nice mark on here where I need to fill it up for a pot. I'll put it on pot. I got it filled up, and this thing boils it in about 7 minutes. Okay, the water's boiled. 7 minutes. Start my trusty Apple Watch timer. There it goes. 4 minutes for the steeping of the coffee. You'll notice the various characteristics of the French press. The bottom of the frame is a good place to fill up to give it the initial stirring. I stir the hell out of it. A lot of people just stir it a little. I think if it's all in a big dry cake at the top, you're not really getting any coffee out of it. So I give it a little bit more. Stir it for about a minute. Now we're going to let it sit there. I put a lid on it so it doesn't evaporate too much. And now we're going to have 4 minutes of waiting. Okay, we're down to the final seconds here. It's not too touchy. 5 minutes might be okay. So I give it a little stir just on the top to break up that crust. And I fill it up. I pour it down the stick to rinse it off a little bit and wash off the spigot. And I try to fill it up about to the top of the frame, which corresponds to the bottom of the spout there. And then we apply the filter. Very slow through the transition. Line up the lid. And you can pull that up a little bit if it gets tight and give it a little twist to rotate the squeegee on the bottom. I'll show you that later. There we go. There's your pot of coffee. Now I like to let it sit for a few minutes, not a few minutes, a few seconds to settle. And then we're going to pour it off. I typically pour it on the counter first and then in the cup, but very slow pour, not to disturb the the grinds on the bottom. And oh, I forgot to give you my salute notion to help avoid breaking the spigot. I've smashed the cup up against that spigot numerous times. Gone through a few of these in my short lifetime. There we go. Now here's the trick. I wonder if I can get this on camera. as the bottom of the liquid, the top of the liquid clears the the cake in the bottom, the air will break through at some point and allow a little more coffee out. And then I tend to stop pouring before I get to the end. It's easy to tell because once the springs are exposed there at the bottom, you've gotten enough. And I used to preheat the cups and keep the coffee nice and hot, but it was so hot I couldn't drink it for 5 minutes. So now I just even pour a little cold water in there to cool it off a little bit. Figured out what's what. And my wife always likes a nice full cup, so I top hers off with a little extra hot water. Maybe I'll top mine off too. And there's 2 wonderful cups of coffee. Bon appetit. And of course, we need to end with a nice entitled shot.